All right, so this is going to be recorded for you. So I want to welcome everybody here today. It's just absolutely my pleasure, my honor, my privilege to be able to spend this time with you. And my commitment to you is that this time is so valuable that you are able to use this information to begin the process of absolutely transforming your life. So information is great. It really doesn't mean anything though. Information is not power. Knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge that gives us power. So I am clear that I want to give you information, but I also want to give you inspiration so that you have that inspiration so that it really compels you, impels you to be able to use the information and start to change your life right now. So that's my commitment to you. I want to start off by telling you my story, just to let you know how this topic how I relate to this topic. So in 1995, I had a rude awakening. And it was when a friend of mine walked up to me and I was coaching my swimmers on deck. And he looked at me. Now he had known me for several years. He walked up to me that day and it was in the morning and he said, "Getting a little chubby there, Ruben." And then he turned and walked away. Ooh. I got mad. Now I had a buttermilk donut in my hand. I wanted to throw it at him, but I didn't want to waste the donut. Mm-hmm. Can you feel me? If you can feel me, raise your hand. Okay, you are now my official friends, okay? All right, so the thing is, I didn't want to waste the donut. I got really mad at him, but then I got mad at me. You see, 4.5 years earlier, I had ruptured my Achilles tendon playing basketball. And after the surgery, the next day, the surgeon told me I would never play basketball again. Now, basketball is probably the first love of my life, really. Because swimming and basketball were my sports. Swimming and basketball is what kept me off the streets and away from the gangs and the drugs in Los Angeles where I grew up. So basketball was a safe haven for me. And for me to not play basketball was a devastating notion. So I became depressed and I stopped caring. So for 4.5 years, I was a junk food addict. And I was in hospital administration, no kidding. I would leave my office at the hospital at 5 o'clock and stop in at the gift shop on my way out. Now, if you've ever been to a hospital gift shop, you have to wonder for yourself, is there healthy food in a hospital gift shop? No, there just isn't. So I'd stop in and I'd get my fix for the afternoon. Yeah, in a hospital gift shop? Yeah, oh yeah, I got my fix. Yeah, a package of 6 Oreo cookies, king-size bag of M&Ms, large Mountain Dew, and a 3 Musketeers bar to top it all off. Mm-hmm. Every afternoon. That was my drive to the pool fix for the afternoon. Now, if you've been in that situation, you know what that's like. I knew what I was doing. I didn't care. I didn't care. And one of the things that is really nasty about when you get depressed, the nature of who we are as human beings, not only do we get depressed, but we also get arrogant. Okay, we get arrogant about it. Like nobody else can help me. I'm just going to wallow in my own tears. I'm going to wallow in my own, all of this stuff. It's just, it's a nasty experience. So for 4.5 years, I was the nicest person on the outside. I was responsible, hardworking, dedicated, intelligent. I took care of everybody else except me. And so then when my friend walked up to me and called me chubby that day, that was a rude awakening because that was the truth. That was the truth I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear. And when I got it that day, that I had caused it to myself, Einstein said the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. And what he was telling us is that we created our own problems, not intentionally, but subconsciously. And we have to change our thinking, but we have to change our subconscious awareness and our subconscious thinking as well. Nobody in their right mind creates being 55 pounds heavier with high blood sugar, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. Nobody intentionally does that, but it happens. And it was me. That's where I was. So at that moment, I made a solemn vow to myself, a promise that this was it. I was done. Fortunately for me, I knew what I needed to do. Again, knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge that gives us power. So at that time, what I did is I pulled out of my bookcase all the books and all the tapes, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, the list goes on. And I started listening to them every single day, every day on my drive into work, on my drive back from work. I mean, every single day I started to re-infuse my mind with knowing how to reprogram my subconscious mind. I started saying my affirmation statements because it all begins here. It's an inside job, my friends. A lot of us think, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds for the high school reunion. And so they start exercising. That's the only thing they do. And then after the high school reunion, they go back to their old ways. That doesn't work. So John Maxwell, he said that the moment that a person says, I am completely responsible for my life, in that moment, there's no crutches, there's no excuses anymore. So I did what I had to do. I started getting up an hour earlier every single day. I started exercising. I listened to my tapes. Yes, I listened to cassette tapes. Okay, so I did that. I date myself. So the thing is, I did all of that. And it took me about a year. I lost all the weight and I've been healthy and fit ever since. But more importantly is that I've been teaching others how to do the same thing for themselves. That's the most important thing. And it's been absolutely an incredible journey. I actually got registered in the National Weight Loss Registry. There is such a thing. Washington, D.C., they have a registry of people who have lost 50 pounds or more. So I'm in the database. And what they do is they study the long-term effect of people who have lost 50 pounds or more. Now, here's what the research shows. That about 95% of people who have lost 50 pounds regain it within 2 years or less. 95%. My friends, that's all the Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Medifast, bariatric surgery, all of those, 95% failure rate. Now, what we show in the research as far as the people who actually had long-term sustainable weight loss, what we're talking about there is a lifestyle change, a complete comprehensive lifestyle, and it starts here. In 2 weeks, I'm going to do my webinar, Eliminating Self-Sabotage. Do not miss it. Do not miss it, Eliminating Self-Sabotage, because I will teach you how to rewire your subconscious mind, and nobody else is teaching that. You didn't get a course in that in high school. You didn't get a course on that in college. And that's the thing that I've learned painfully over the years that will make a profound difference. And so what I have to share with you today, so what I'm going to share with you today is what I've learned over the years to be able to not only lose the weight, but also to sustainably keep it off and stay healthy. That's what I'm going to share with you. Now, it's been 25 years since I started that process. Now, here's my benchmark. A lot of people say, well, I tried the Jenny Craig system. I tried the Nutrisystem. I tried this trainer. I tried that person. I said, look, as far as I'm concerned, here's my benchmark. Do not listen to anyone unless they have lost at least 50 pounds and kept it off for at least 20 years. That would be me, okay? At least 50 pounds and for at least 20 years. Otherwise, don't listen to them. Do not listen to them, okay? Now, I've even talked to some really intelligent, brilliant people. I mean, they got MDs behind their name and they think they're experts on weight loss. No, they're not, okay? They're just not. Trust me, because I've been in medical school, all right? They are not experts on weight loss. No, they think they know, but they do not. They've never had the experience, okay? So I've been there, I've done it, I've been on the other side of it. I've completely been successful in doing this, and I still work at it every day. I did my workout this morning. All right, I did it this morning. I did it. I mean, I went for it. It was a nice walk today. It was beautiful this morning. Went for a very nice walk, did a power walk. And I did my strength work, then my pull-ups and my strength work and my bands. It was great. So I'm going to share with you as someone who's actually walked the walk. All right. So this is not somebody who thinks they're a highfalutin because they went to Harvard and they think they have all the degrees and everything else. No, this is real. This is real. I do have the education to go behind it as well. All right, so let's get started talking about this subject. So what I'm going to do now, if you open up your chat window, just to remind you, open up your chat window. I've got a message there for you. Please type in if you're new. Please type in where you're from if you're outside of California. All right. So really, really great. So let's see here. I'm going to now shift to my PowerPoint. Close that. And I'm going to close that. And it's a few clicks and then we'll be there. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat window for now. I will get to all the questions at the end. I promise you, I will. I will stay till the very end, till every question has been answered. That is my promise to all of you. Okay, so now let's see here. Almost there. And okay, here we go. All right, so a little bit more about me. So my name, Ruben J. Guzman. MPH does not stand for the speed that I drive my car. Okay, so it stands for Masters in Public Health, and I got that degree from UCLA back in 1988. I specialized in behavioral sciences, which is an advanced psychology degree, and health promotion. Love, love, love my program. Just loved it. It was wonderful. Now, when I got done with my program, I had a very important decision to make. And that was this: do I or do I not go back and return to UC Davis School of Medicine to complete my training to become a physician? I had spent 3 years at UC Davis studying to become a physician at UC Davis Medical School. And I realized at that point in 1988 that I was now passionate about promoting health, and I was no longer interested in treating disease. I wanted to prevent disease. So I made a bold decision, and the decision was to not go back to medical school and to pursue studying lifestyle medicine on my own. Now, that was a radical idea because I was ahead of my time. There was nothing called lifestyle medicine back then. So I started to do that, and as time went on, I started learning from very, very profoundly wise people like Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Neil Barnard, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, and a whole bunch of others. And so I started learning more and more and more about lifestyle medicine. And in 2016, I went to a healthcare conference on nutrition for healthcare professionals, and I discovered that there is a new branch of the American Medical Association. Lo and behold, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. I was so surprised. I was shocked. I was delighted. And I signed up. I registered. October 2017, went to my first lifestyle medicine conference in Tucson, Arizona. I walked in almost 1,200 health professionals from 38 different countries. I was ecstatic. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, all these professionals, we were on the same wavelength. The energy was palpable. It was amazing. I thought I'd gone to heaven. It was amazing. And so here was this incredible group of health professionals, MDs, PhDs from all over the place. And they announced the opening of a board certification examination for the first time to be able to be board certified in lifestyle medicine. First category open to physicians, MDs and DOs, but the second category that they opened up was for professionals, for PhDs and those with a master's in a health-related field. That's me. I signed up, studied for a year. In October 2018, 30 years after finishing my master's in public health at UCLA, I went to my second healthcare conference, and after the conference, I passed my board exam. So the LMP stands for Lifestyle Medicine Professional. So the American College of Lifestyle Medicine is an evidence-based approach to prevent, reverse, and treat chronic disease using lifestyle measures as opposed to medications. And guess what? We can do a better job. No kidding. It's amazing and it's wonderful and it works. It works. So the areas that we focus on, and there's many more than just this, but nutrition, physical activity, emotional well-being, alcohol and tobacco reduction, healthy relationships, hydration and sleep, and there's even more. So it's wonderful. It's an incredible new day. And the day is coming when you're going to be able to go to a certified lifestyle medicine professional or a certified lifestyle medicine physician, and your healthcare insurance will cover that. That is coming. It's so exciting. So there's lots that's happening. I just completed attending the Lifestyle Medicine Conference. We did it virtually. So it was just awesome. But I get to live into this quote that Thomas Edison said well over 100 years ago, that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. This is what lifestyle medicine is all about. This is what I'm all about. And I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so great. I found my tribe. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I want to also let you know that I have absolutely zilch, zero, no conflicts of interest whatsoever. No gimmicks, no sales, no schemes, nothing. I mean, people approach me all the time, just so you know. I always tell them, I'm sorry. I have absolutely zero conflicts of interest whatsoever. I love being able to empower people and to educate people. That's what I do. Yes, I make a living being an executive and business professional coach, and I do lifestyle medicine coaching for people. Yes, but I do these seminars for free. And why is that? It's because of two things. One, I'm passionate about being able to eliminate chronic disease from the face of the planet. And secondly, I believe as an adult, it is imperative that each and every one of us leave a legacy and leave this planet better than how we found it. And it's important that we pay it forward. So I believe in the power of paying it forward. I've got 4 boys myself, 4 sons, ages 34, 29, 22, and 20. I believe it's imperative that each of us as adults make this planet, leave this planet a better place for our children and our posterity. So it's important to me. That's why I do this for free. I'm passionate, yes, as you can probably guess by now. All right, so that's what I do. So I believe that Virgil was correct when he said this well over 2,000 years ago, that the greatest wealth that any of us can have truly is our health. And so many people have it backwards, all right, because this is what is truly our number one priority is our health. So let's talk about what I'm going to cover today. I've got lots of material and I'm so excited because by the way, I always upgrade my webinars and my seminars, always, every single time. It's a new experience, new material. Even if you've been following me for 11 years, like Ann has, all right, every single time I do a seminar, it is not the same as before. I promise you, always new material because I'm always growing, I'm always learning. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to share with you some of the statistics, a part of my research that I started many years ago. Then we're going to talk about the context for health, the framework. And what I want to share with you is why we become overweight. I'm going to answer that question. Why do we gain weight? Why do we gain excess body fat? I'm going to answer that question once and for all so you understand that. That's the foundation to what we're going to cover for the rest of the webinar. And then we're going to talk about the contributing factors to obesity, what contributes to that, things that really contribute to that. And then we're going to talk about my 4-prong approach to releasing excess body fat successfully so that you can keep it off for the rest of your life. Then I will share with you the picture of what truly effective fat loss looks like. And it may not be what you've been thinking, okay? It's not out in the news media, believe me, it's not out there. So I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. And then the final piece, which is the most important, which is how you can actually make the rest of your life the best of your life and create a successful lifestyle change for the rest of your life. And that's what I'm committed to. All right, so let's get started. But before we do, I want you to know, I do not claim to be the all-knowing expert. Okay, I'm not that kind. I don't have that ego. Okay, I don't. I've learned a lot. I'm a student. I have been a student for a long period of time. Dr. Glover taught me something before I went off to medical school. He was my mentor. And he said, Ruben, remember this, that about half the information you learn before you go in medical school will be outdated by the time you get through medical school. And that the other half will be outdated shortly thereafter. So constantly be a student. He was such an example for me because he was always growing, always learning. And I've followed in his footsteps that way. He practiced medicine until he was 86 years old. Remarkable human being, really amazing. So one of my teachers has some words of wisdom to impart to you. I will try to invoke his spirit here right now. You must unlearn what you have learned. I hope you're willing to listen to the wisdom of Yoda and have an open mind. That will serve you well. So a little humor to get us started. All right, I love the one on the left. The doctor is saying, you're not retaining water. You're retaining cookies and ice cream and pizza. And yeah, one on the right, well, it seems your weight is perfect. You just happen to be 11 feet too short. Yeah, right. I love this one. On the left, Kathy decides to remain standing on the scale until she loses weight, and it has a different number. Yeah,
Ruben,
right.
Ruben, are you showing a PowerPoint?
Yeah, I'm showing the PowerPoint.
I don't see it. Am I missing?
You don't see it?
I don't see it, no.
Okay, you don't see it. I don't know.
We see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone sees it? Okay.
Okay. All right.
Maybe it's your view. Maybe do
Yeah.
something to you.
Okay, because it seems like it's showing that here is that it's going through, Mark. Thanks for sharing. Okay. All right. Okay. The one on the right, I love this one. It's one of my favorite. Bob devises the ultimate weight loss system. The mirror in the refrigerator. Oh, I thought that was really good. Okay, and this one, oh, it's always great to see these. All right, on the left, everything slows down with age except the time it takes cake and ice cream to reach your hips. Yeah, and the one in the middle, the older you get, the tougher it is to lose weight because by then, your body and your fat are really good friends. Isn't that the truth? And then on the far right, does obesity run in your family? No, nobody runs in my family. I love that one. All right, so if you moved here from a different country, I got news for you. What I discovered is that you made a bad choice. You moved to the United States, which happens to be the highest amounts of obesity on the face of the planet. Oh my goodness. All right, and it's for a long time what we've been showing is that this obesity has not been getting any better. So we see this both for men and for women. All levels of overweight and obesity have been gradually increasing. It's not been good. It's interesting when we look at the profile of obesity in the country by states. So In 1991, there was no state in the entire union that had 20% obesity or more. In 2010, there is no state that has less than 20% obesity, and it continues to climb. As we see in 2013, this is by county, obesity prevalence by county. So this whole area, the southeast portion of the United States, is so socked in with obesity, and it goes all the way up into the Midwest. And if we look at this one is adult obesity with those reporting a BMI greater than 30. And so again, the southeast portion, it's so widespread, it's crazy. When we look at some of the numbers, what we see is this, that 70% of all Americans are overweight or obese today. That's alarming. That's alarming. And all of that contributes to the other chronic diseases that we have in this country. So there is a tremendous amount of problems that we have here. The relationship, one of the things that I was looking at in my research is what is the relationship between obesity and chronic disease? And so when we see this, that with BMI, body mass index, those who have a very low body mass index between 20 and 25 have the lowest mortality ratios. But as the body mass index continues to climb, so does the mortality ratio. We start to see that. Well, why is that? So over the years, we've been doing a lot more research. Why is that? What's going on with this excess body fat? And so there's two major types of excess body fat. One is the subcutaneous fat. So that's underneath the skin. So that's the stuff under here when you pinch, that's underneath your skin. You can feel that thickness. That's a subcutaneous fat, but that's not the only fat we have. Now that particular fat produces estrogens in high quantities, which is also a contributing factor to many types of cancers. All right, now, in addition, we have the really problematic fat is what we call the intra-abdominal or visceral fat. Now, this is the fat that's around the organs, inside of your organs. So everything in what we call the thorax. So the thorax is inside the heart, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, the intestinal tract, the kidneys, all that entire area. So that thorax, that's where the visceral fat or the intra-abdominal fat resides. And it's a different kind of fat because it produces inflammatory cytokines, which are responsible for this long-term inflammation that contributes to many, many different kinds of chronic diseases. And so we've seen in the literature that abdominal fat driven inflammation is involved in many diseases, all of these, including asthma, cancer, reflux disease, kidney stones, all kinds of things. So it is really problematic. So this belly fat, this visceral fat is really a problem. And it contributes to all sources of mortality. So in 2015, 2016, the leading causes of death, heart disease and cancers, #1 and #2, and then all the way down the line. But 90% of this is lifestyle related, 80, 90%. All right, so this is all lifestyle. And by the way, this just got updated. And so what they show again is that what we see heart disease and cancer still #1 and #2. That accounts for about 50% along with strokes. And we've got Alzheimer's, diabetes. And by the way, Alzheimer's is continuing to grow, kidney disease, so a lot of it. There is one cause of death that's not listed here, and that's medical error, just so you know. That's the third leading cause of death. Now, what I started to look at is how does this relate geographically to the map that I saw as far as obesity in the United States? So it's rather interesting. So if we look at the geographical map of heart disease, here's what we come up with. So the mortality due to heart disease, guess what? It's concentrated primarily in the southeast portion of the United States. There is the correlation. So it's not cause and effect. That we're not saying that. What we're saying is correlation. There's an association. The #2 cause of death is cancer. Here's the map for that. All right, so we see again the southeast portion of the United States. Next is going to be lung disease. All right, so we see again the southeast portion of the United States is the highest concentration. When we look at strokes, this one shocked me when I saw this. Look at this. This is the concentration of mortality due to strokes. All right, and if we look at This is Alzheimer's. This is the latest chart that we have on Alzheimer's. Again, we see the southeast portion of the United States. When we look at diabetes, we call it now diabesity, because what we see is a high relationship between diabetes and obesity. Again, we see the southeast portion of the United States. And guess what? All of this right now, this is really concerning, because what we see very, very, very easily now is that when it comes to mortality and complications due to COVID-19, this relates. In fact, we even have a chart showing this, where people are more at risk for severe COVID-19 illness and complications. Here's the chart. Again, the southeast portion of the United States is the greatest concentration. Wow. When we look at life expectancy by state, when I saw this chart, it shocked me that the 10 states with the lowest life expectancy in red happen to be all geographically next to each other. Wow. Wow. In case you forgot your geography, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. There will be a test question at the end. Okay. So you need to know those 10 states. So that's what's happening. Now, I've been to those 10 states. I've been a speaker in many of those states. I've spoken in Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. No, it's Louisville, Kentucky, and Mobile, Alabama, and Shreveport, Louisiana, and Little Rock, Arkansas. All right, so I've been to these places, and it's pretty interesting because lifestyle is different. Lifestyle is different. So my question was, how does lifestyle correlate with chronic disease and life expectancy? So let's look at some of the areas of lifestyle medicine. So one of the areas to look at is nutrition. So I suggest that one of the things that could be a problem is eating fast food. In particular, there's one of the exports from this state here, Kentucky. All right, Kentucky has a very popular export in fast food. It's called Kentucky Fried Chicken. Have you ever wondered how many people are eating Kentucky Fried Chicken? Well, here's the map. Guess what? It's the southeast portion of the United States has the highest concentration of consumption of Kentucky Fried Chicken. What about physical inactivity? People not moving, all right? Again, we see this corridor in the southeast portion of the United States. We see that. What about frequent mental distress? All right, so we actually have data on this, and we show that, again, the southeast portion of the United States, frequent mental distress there, and Fresno. And if you've been there, you know why. All right, so the thing about it, there are so many factors that are keeping us sick. My good friend, Dr. Stephen Loam, he's a cardiologist and lifestyle medicine physician in the Chicago area. And he says that there are 5 major factors, including another one is sleep. Oh, by the way, here's another one. Kentucky, nobody's sleeping. All right, Georgia's nobody's sleeping. Las Vegas, nobody is sleeping. Okay, so they're just not sleeping. All right, so 5 factors that keep us sick. So Dr. Stephen Loam, he talks about this. Number 1, when we're under stress, we do 3 things. Our brain is wired to survive, and we are going to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. Those are the 3 things that our brain is wired to do when we're under stress. Another factor that keeps us sick is our family pattern of behaviors. This stuff isn't genetic, my friends. All right, it's not genetic. A lot of people say, oh, everybody in my family is fat, so I'm going to be destined to be fat. No, it's lifestyle. All right, genetics, what we say in lifestyle medicine is this: genetics loads the trigger, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. All right, so it's different. So lifestyle makes the difference. Another factor that keeps us sick is the nutrition, the food industry. The food industry. Do you really think that the food industry has your health as their number 1 priority? Think again. And then another thing that keeps us sick is the government. Yeah, as we have seen this past year. Yeah, what's more important? Taking care of interest groups in the economy or public health? We know the answer. Another thing that keeps us sick is the medical industry itself. Now, I can tell you this, having been inside of the belly of the beast. On the board exam for medical school, after you finish the curriculum in the first 2 years, you have to take an exam, a board exam. There were about 70, almost 70 questions related to pharmaceutical drugs. There was only one question on nutrition. That's it. One question. All right, just so you know. So these are the things that keep us sick. In lifestyle medicine, we suggest a different approach. I love what Dr. Wayne Dysinger, one of the co-founders of lifestyle medicine, says, that lifestyle medicine is the foundation of healthcare, because 80% of healthcare is chronic disease, especially in this country. 80% of chronic disease is caused by lifestyle. So if the disease is caused by lifestyle, the foundation ought to be a lifestyle treatment. And doesn't that make sense? It does. It does. It's about time, isn't it? So what we have to be able to do, if we're going to do this right, we have to approach it a different way. We can't do the same things over and over again expecting different results. That's insanity. We have been insane for so long. We have to completely revamp this whole approach. We need to be able to build resilience. Now, this is my friend Nimai Delgado. All right, he is a bodybuilder. By the way, he's never had a stitch of meat in his life. Does he suffer from protein deficiency? By the way, are there any beds in the hospitals with people suffering from protein deficiency? No, my friends. All right, so we need to build a resilience, and that's the capacity. I love the definition here: to prepare for disruptions, recover from shocks and stresses, and adapt and grow from a disruptive experience. That's what we need to be able to do. So we now look at how we can do this. We're going to examine the context for health. And it begins with this quote from my dear professor, Dr. Michael Kalitsky. And he said this in my undergraduate studies. He said, remember this, that all of life is in one of two states at any given moment. Either it is surviving or it is thriving, and that's all there is. Now, when he said it, it shocked me. I couldn't quite get it. I asked him, I said, are you saying it's just one or the other? He said, that's exactly what I said. I said, I'm thinking there's a bell-shaped distribution curve. He said, no. I said, I don't get it. He said, sit with the Reuben, you'll figure it out. I hated when he said that to me. He did it often. I sat with it for 3 years. 3 years later, I was able to connect the dots. I'm in my first year of medical school at UC Davis. I'm taking a class called embryology. And so in that class, we're studying the embryonic period of human development, which is from the moment of conception to the point where everything is there. Then everything just grows bigger. At that point, we call it a fetus. So that first part is usually what correlates with the first trimester. So if you're a mother, you know it well. All right, you know the trimester. And if you're a father, you know it well too, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, she was asking you to go out and get ice cream and pickles. So it's a crazy time. It's an amazing time as well, because early on in our development, we all look like this, a ball of cells that you can't tell one from the other. We call it a blastomere phase. But eventually this ball of cells gets big enough that it starts to then fold inward and starts to form a tube of cells. This tube of cells will become the first organ system of the body to become distinguishable and operational. Now, this is critical in understanding about weight loss. This is critical. This is absolutely, in fact, the whole seminar right here is right here. The essence of the seminar, if you get 1 point, you get this. This is it right here. That this tube will become the neural tube. So the neural tube is what's going to give rise to what we call the limbic brain. The limbic brain is the amygdala, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the pituitary, all the central features of the brain. We call it the primal brain or primordial brain. All right, so or the monkey brain. Sometimes we refer to it that way. So it's that limbic brain, and it's all connected to the spinal cord. Now, this neural tube becomes the central nervous system. This is critical to understand. Now, what the professor said is that once this is established, it is turned on. And once it's on 24/7 for the rest of our lives. It's the first system on, last system off. Now, the professor said this, it is the electrical system of the body. It runs everything. Every organ, every cell in your body is run by the central nervous system. And it's all coordinated, and it's an electrical system. And the professor said it's just like any basic electrical system. You got two currents. You got a positive current and you got a negative current. So the positive current of the central nervous system is referred to as the parasympathetic branch of the central nervous system. The negative current is the sympathetic branch of the central nervous system. Now, when the parasympathetic branch is on, it is affecting every organ system in the body and every cell in the body in a particular way. Very important to understand when it comes to weight. Now, it's the parasympathetic state. When we are in the negative current, we're operating the sympathetic branch of the central nervous system. And the sympathetic branch, when it is on, it's affecting every organ system in the body and every cell in the body in the opposite way. These two currents are polar opposite of each other. Now, here's what the professor said next that really sunk in for me. He said, once this central nervous system is turned on, we operate either in the parasympathetic state or the sympathetic state. We do not operate both at the same time. We can go back and forth between the two, but we only operate in one state or the other at any given moment. I got Dr. Kalitsky's or that we are either surviving in the sympathetic state or thriving in the parasympathetic state, and that's all there is. Now, if you get this point, you get the foundation of this entire seminar. It's so important. Because when we're operating in the sympathetic state, where our central nervous system is reacting to stress of any kind, physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual stress. Those are the four fundamental human energies that we have. So when we are triggered to be in the sympathetic state, for whatever reason, we're in the state of survival. Our primal brain is what's functioning at that point. Our higher thinking, rational thinking is gone. We may recognize fight, flight, freeze, or fold as reactions, but it's so subtle that even a perceived threat, even a thought of fear is enough to trigger us and put us in the sympathetic state. Oh no, I got to deal with Alan today. Oh, that's enough. Puts us in the sympathetic state. Now, here's what we see in the literature now. It's very, very clear that the common thread of all chronic disease is being in the state of dis-ease far too much. And so it is with gaining excess body fat. It's exactly the same thing. The reason why we gain excess body fat is because we're in the sympathetic state far too much. For whatever reason. So what lifestyle medicine is all about is about not giving you some fix, some drug, some cure, some treatment, no, some procedure. No, what we're going to do is fundamentally shift your central nervous system state from sympathetic too much of the time to being in the parasympathetic state more of the time. And then what happens? Oh, your body is at peace. You experience pleasure, restoration, digestion. When you're having fun, play, and ease, guess what? You're in the parasympathetic. Your body starts to thrive. And guess what? It begins to heal itself. Our body is so amazing. I mean, isn't it amazing that when you were little and you would go out and play and you'd scrape an elbow or an arm or something like that, and you'd go crying to your mother, and your mother would put that Dharma Curachrome on it. Oh, I hated that. So the thing is, and then she put the Band-Aid on and said, don't touch it, leave it alone. And then you took the Band-Aid off a few days later, and then, it was cured. It was completely fixed. It was fine. It was amazing. Our body is incredible. It really is. It has the capacity to heal itself far beyond our wildest imagination. It's amazing. We can heal, and we can be powerful when we're in that state. We can do many things. The key is to shift the central nervous system state. I want to tell you a little bit about some research. I'm going to tell you about three groups of mice. So this was research that was done many years ago, classic research. I'm going to send you the information on this. By the way, I'm sending you an email with all kinds of resource information. I back everything up. Everything is backed up. Okay. I'm going to send you all the slides, send you the recording for this whole thing. So 3 groups of mice. What they did is they had 3 groups of mice. One group was a skinny group of mice. Then they had a second group that was normal, and a third group that needed to eat less, okay? So what they did, this is a 35-day experiment. So for 10 days, the eat less group was given 50% less food. They dieted. Okay, so they went on a calorie restricted diet. Any of you have ever done that? You know who you are. All right, so the thing is, they gave the eat less group 50% less food for 10 days. And then they went back to eating normal for the next 25 days. So the skinny group ate normally for 35 days. The normal group ate normally for 35 days. So which group showed the greatest amount of percentage body fat at the end of 35 days? Well, it wasn't the skinny group because they were still skinny. Okay, they were eating normal as before. So it must have been the normal group because the normal group was eating normal, and the eat less group, they dieted for 10 days. So they must have lost a lot of weight, and then they ate normal. So then they may have kept it off, right? No. Here's what happened. We put the eat less group into which state? The sympathetic state. So when we put the body in the sympathetic state, here's what happens. The body says, oh, there's a famine going on. So the next time you get food, store more. Store a higher percentage of it as, guess what? Fat. Because fat is the ultimate survival fuel. So the way our bodies are wired is that when we reduce our calories because we think we need to lose weight, and then we go back to eating normal, we gain more. Ever have that experience? Okay. That's what happens. It has to do with the central nervous system. The central nervous system is wired perfectly. It's wired perfectly. So the reason why we gain weight is because we go into the sympathetic state, and as soon as we do that, the brain shifts to being able to store more of anything we eat as fat. We've done this with college athletes. We took college athletes and we put them on a standard day of full training, all right, put on regular training, and then at the end of the day, we gave them a standardized meal. We measured out the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates, the whole bit. And then we were able to measure how much of that meal got stored as fat. So these were college athletes. They had 8 to 12% body fat, very lean, very lean. Put them through a full day of training, standardized meal. We discovered, even though the meal was, spaghetti, meatballs, the whole bit, it was 30% fat in the meal. They only stored 8 to 12% of that meal as fat. So then the next day, what we did is we put them through the whole day of training, gave them water, but no food. No food, hardly anything. They they had very little food, very little food. We cut their food way down. We put them in the same as the eat less group, 50% less food, gave them water, Now they get to the dinner meal, they're starving, right? They're starving. They ate the same exact meal, no different, exactly the same meal. Now they store 28 to 32% of that same meal as fat. So my friends, the state is what makes the difference. The central nervous system state is what determines our body storing excess body fat. That's what happens. So remember these mice, they're so adorable, aren't they? So I teach that there are 5 major elements that we have total control over that can influence our central nervous system state. Number 1 is the thoughts that we think, my friends. This is so powerful. This brain of ours is so powerful. So if we have stinking thinking thoughts, as my friend Zig Ziglar used to say, then we're going to be in the sympathetic state. If we have the power of positive thinking, as Norman Vincent Peale taught me, then we're going to be in the parasympathetic state. Our thoughts become things. So our thoughts are powerful. Secondly, are the words that we speak. I got news for you, and I listen to people all the time, because if you're complaining, if you're berating, if you're worried, if you're anxious, and you're having words, if you're gossiping, I got news for you. You're in the sympathetic state, just like that. So what we have to practice is positive words, uplifting, encouraging, supportive. The words of the tongue should have 3 gatekeepers. Is it true? Is it kind? And is it necessary? Okay. So practice positive words. The third secret are the actions that we take, because if we make a promise to ourselves, this is the most important thing. We make a promise to ourselves and then we break our promise to ourselves. In that moment, we're in the sympathetic state. If we say we're going to start our exercising on Monday morning, it's 5:30 in the morning. We hit the snooze button instead, sympathetic state. That's what happens. So we have to be able to practice integrity, living a life of integrity. Like no kidding. The fourth secret is the company we keep. Oh my goodness, this is more impactful than we've ever realized. We are the average of the 5 people we most associate with, and more. And more. There's a book called Connections. It's incredible because we are affected by the friends that we have and their friends. I mean, we really are affected by that. So if you got in your inner circle people who have stinking thinking, who are worried and they're always complaining or they're dramatic or whatever the case may be, you need to do a peopleectomy. Doesn't mean you stop loving them. You just love them from further afar. That's all. And then the 5th factor that affects our central nervous system state is the food that we eat. Most people never think of it this way. Food affects our central nervous system? You better believe it. It absolutely does. Everything affects our central nervous system, particularly our food. We're going to talk more about this later. So these are the 5 elements that influence our central nervous system that you have total control over. Be sure to check out my webinar, The 5 Secrets to Living a Thriving, Healthy, Happy Life. I got more. Not only that, but also when it comes to losing excess body fat, every aspect of lifestyle medicine is still effective. It really makes a difference. So I'm going to incorporate some of these because hydration, nutrition, physical activity, harmful substance reduction, sleep, emotional well-being and stress management, healthy relationships, all of it. These are all the spokes of our wheel. So when it comes to being able to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life, you have to really look at it from a lifestyle approach, not just like, oh, I'm just going to cut my calories by 30%. No. Okay, don't do that. You got to address every spoke in your wheel, every spoke of your lifestyle. All of it has to be addressed. All of it, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. That's, every aspect has to be addressed. Now let's talk about obesity and gaining weight at a deeper level. So switching gears. So here's a graphic scan of 2 women, same height, approximately 5'7". One on the right is 120 pounds, pretty healthy. This one over here is more than double that weight, 250 pounds. Now, here's the thing that we sometimes we see that there's subcutaneous fat. That's the fat underneath the skin. That's what we can see on the graphic pretty well. And here you see more of the visceral fat. This is something called the omentum. It's a flap that covers the abdominal cavity, the intestinal wall. And so the thing is, it's a lot of fat. But we also, if you look here, there's more fat inside the heart than there is over here. And there's more fat in the liver as well. So what you cannot see in this graphic is the intramuscular fat. There's fat inside of the muscles as well. There's a lot of fat there. You can't see all that. Here's what I got to do when I was a pathologist assistant before I went to medical school. I got to do autopsy. So I got to actually look at and prepare specimens for microscopic examination. So when you look inside on the microscope and you look at fat tissue, this is a segment of fat tissue. So all of these, it looks like swimming pools, all right? They got swimming pools. So you got these areas, those are fat cells. All these swimming pools are swimming pools of fat, all right? They're all the same size. So every fat cell in your body is approximately the same size. The number of cells that you have in the body stays constant, all right? You don't increase the number of cells stays the same. The cells can expand or shrink. So your mission is not to get rid of fat cells. No, your mission is to shrink them. It's to shrink them, which means you have to use the fuel that's inside the fat cells. So the fat is a fuel, all right? These are oil reservoirs. So what we have to be able to do is use the fuel. Now, in 2004, we discovered something very interesting, because before that, we thought every time you eat fat, it goes to the fat cells. But that's not the truth. What we showed was something very interesting. In 2004, we did research on diabetics at Yale University, and they had a new technology to look inside the cells in a live state. So looking at muscle cells, what they discovered was something that was so shocking. This is the game changer. It was so shocking. It's been 16 years now. So what they showed was that inside these muscle cells of the diabetics, they lit up with this intramyocellular lipid. So there are all these droplets of intramyocellular lipid. This was shocking. And why is that? Because intramyocellular lipid is a fancy word for fat. Now, why is this so surprising? Because muscle cells are about, normally in a healthy state, about 90% water. But lipid is fat, which is oil. Think about it. Do oil and water mix? No, they don't, do they? So we used to think that fat only went to the fat cells. We thought wrong. Fat also gets inside the cells as well. All the other cells, it's getting into all the other cells. Oh, interesting. It's not what we thought before. This is an amazing game changer, because it's simple chemistry. It's simple chemistry. We know oil and water don't mix. We know that. You can do this at home. You can take oil and water, put them in a glass. Where does the oil go? To the surface, right? It forms a slick. What happens out in the ocean when an oil derrick breaks or a tanker leaks? Where does the oil go? It forms a slick on the surface. But what happens to the marine life underneath? Goes belly up and dies because it suffocates. So what's happening inside the cell when we have too much fat in the diet? It forms this slick on the inside of the cell. We never saw this before 2004. It's forming an oil slick on the inside of the cell. Basically, you can see right through it, but you can't breathe. Suffocating the cell, and now the cell starts to suffer, causes all kinds of problems. So this is the cellular mechanism that we were able to discover. So the problem is that we've got excess fat in the diet. We've got way too much fat in the diet. As Dr. McDougall says, I love this quote, the fat that you eat is the fat you wear. And in the United States, well, we're number one. Yep, we're number one. You know, our current president became obese 2 years ago because he's on a diet of fast food. Yes, that's all he eats. Yeah, go USA. Yeah, we're number one. And in the USA, what we see is that added fats and oils have increased in calories significantly more than any other area. So added fats and oils since 1970 to 2010. We'll see what happens when we get to 2020. It'll be interesting to see. And then flour and cereal products also increase substantially as well. Fat's a real problem. In the United States, this is straight from the USDA, all right? We show that Americans on average eat only 12% of their diet from plant food. 12%, 12%. That's horrible. That's horrible. The healthiest groups of people on the face of the planet average around 75% plant or more. We're not even close. Animal food, 25%. Processed foods, added fats and oils, sugars and refined grains, 63% of the diet. Is there any wonder we have the levels of obesity that we have in this country? This is a standard American diet. This is what it looks like. Yeah, cheeseburger, fries, and a shake. That's the standard American diet. And it's crazy because this is what I used to eat. No more. But I know what this will do. So we have to understand that there's different types of fat, by the way. I'm not going to teach biochemistry today, but I want you to know the difference. These are the molecular structure diagrams for 4 different fat molecules, 4 types of fat molecules. So C represents the carbon atom, H represents the hydrogen atom, O represents the oxygen atom. Now, carbon can normally attach to 4 other atoms at a time. These particular fat molecules on the bottom, this is called alpha linolenic acid. Now, this is a particularly interesting fat because it has 3 carbon-carbon double bonds, 3 of them. And the first of these is on the 3rd carbon of this fat from the methyl group. That's how we name it. So therefore it's called an omega-3. Now you know more biochemistry than about 99% of the American population. Okay. So the thing is, this is an omega-3 fatty acid, not because of 3 carbon-carbon double groups, but because the first carbon-carbon is on the 3rd carbon. All right. So it's got 3 carbon-carbon double bonds. High energy bonds that can be broken open. We have enzymes in our body that allow us to manipulate, change, and modify these fatty molecules for things that we can use. We can use it for structures, for hormones, for enzymes, for all kinds of things. We can do all kinds of things. These become building blocks for us. All right, so we need this. We need the omega-3s. Now, the next one up from that is linoleic acid. All right, and it's the 6th carbon, so therefore it's referred to as an omega-6. Now, many of these are actually inflammatory, so you want to know that. So you want to have more omega-3s than you have omega-6s, much more. Now, this one up above, the 3rd from the bottom, is oleic acid, and it's a mono unsaturated fat. It's only got 1 carbon-carbon double bond. It's an omega-9. Can't do much for us except cause more inflammation. But this one at the top, this one's called palmitic acid. It is a saturated fat. It's got no carbon-carbon double bonds. It's saturated. All the carbons are saturated with hydrogen. So it has no biological potential in our body, none whatsoever. It can't do a thing for us. We can't do a thing with it except roll it up and produce more cholesterol, which we don't need. Saturated fat is not healthy. I don't care what all those articles say. They're ridiculous. Okay. Saturated fat have the same biological properties as these saturated fats. Did you know that these are saturated fats? These are saturated fats. Look at them. You can see it right there. These are modified saturated fats. Plastic, motor oil, diesel fuel, and gasoline are modified saturated fats. Yes, they're the same chemistry. Yeah. So why would you put motor oil in your breakfast? I don't think so. So no saturated fat. We don't need it. Don't need it at all. So what we need to understand is that we've got way too much fat in our diet in the United States. The average American right now is consuming 161 grams of fat per person per day. Oh, if you were to purify all that fat, that would be about 3/4 of a cup of oil. That's crazy. That's crazy. We can't burn it. We can't use it unless not even a collegiate athlete can burn that much oil. Can't. So if you're overweight or obese, your target, so I want you to underscore and make a note for yourself, your target, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make sure that your diet has less than 20 grams of fat per day. Less than 20 grams of fat per day. Total for the day, 20 grams. That's your mission to get to, is less than 20 grams of fat per day. That will help you in releasing excess body fat. That's your target. It is so sneaky. It is so sneaky. It's in so many food products. So we need to know the major sources of fat. Now, if you're healthy and fit like my youngest son, all right, he's 45% muscle, 9% body fat. He's a collegiate swimmer. All right, he needs fat. He burns through it, and he's a plant-based athlete. So yes, avocados and burritos, absolutely he has that. He has all plant-based fats. He needs that. But if you're not in that condition, then you need to reduce your body fat significantly. So here are the major sources. Number one, all oils. I don't care what kind, okay? For you, no oils, period. It doesn't matter. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I don't care how virgin it is. No oil, none whatsoever. No. And any foods that are fried in oil, guess what? That's just embalmed. All right, that's just embalmed food. By the way, the first historical use of oil was embalming the pharaohs in Egypt. Okay, so if you have oil, you're embalming your body preemptively. Morticians these days actually don't have to use as much formaldehyde because people are pre-embalming their bodies with all the oil they're consuming. Ugh, crazy. All right, so no oil whatsoever. The actual science on oil is all of this, okay? The research on the oils, I mean, it does nothing but harm to your arteries, to your oxygen transfer, sympathetic response, inflammation, cholesterol. None of it is good. None of it is good. And it contributes to atherosclerosis and heart attacks? No, I don't think so. All right, Dr. Esselstyn, he says it this way, and I will invoke his spirit here right now because I really want you to get the message from him. All right, he says it this way: no oil. I hope you got the message. Okay. All right, another major source of fat. Another major source of fat is going to be all meats, all animal flesh, It doesn't matter, including beef, pork, poultry, fish, and eggs. Doesn't matter. All of it, all animal flesh. In particular is going to be all the processed meats. They are really problematic. They have so much fat. In case you didn't know, the World Health Organization in 2015, all right, 6 years ago, they did the research. They looked at over 800 research studies and they classified all processed meats, sausages, hot dogs, bacon, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, all of that. Those are all class 1 carcinogens, same as plutonium, asbestos, nicotine, all right, class 1 carcinogens. I passed this information along to my son's school and they got rid of the hot dogs for lunch. Please don't feed it to your children, okay? Please. Another major source of fat is going to be all dairy, okay? It doesn't matter. All of it's got a lot of fat. It's got a lot of fat, especially the biggest problem is cheese. Okay, so cheese is made from the milk fat, which is about 70% fat. Oh, and we've got the biggest addiction to cheese. In fact, my good friend, Dr. Neil Barnard, has this great book called The Cheese Trap. If you're addicted to cheese, you need to read that book. It's outstanding, all right? So there's the cheese trap because it's one of the last things, by the way, that was the last thing to go for me was the cheese. I was addicted, all right, because it addicts your brain. It really does. Okay, and then healthy fats, but you got to be mindful of it. These are healthy fats, all right? Avocados, nuts, and seeds are very healthy sources, good sources of omega-3 fats. They're great. all right? But one avocado is 30 grams of fat, all right? It adds up very fast, all right? A handful of nuts and seeds, all right, generally speaking, anywhere from about 14 to 22 grams of fat. It adds up quickly. If your target for the day is 20 grams of fat for the day, well, then you're gonna have to really watch this. All my clients that are trying to really lose weight, no nuts, seeds, and avocados, okay? Off the menu, okay? Makes a difference. I'm gonna send you this chart in the slides. These are the highest fat foods. There's lots of fats and oils, all animal products, nuts and seeds, fruit, are olives and avocado that are high in fat, seafood, dairy and egg, and baked products, okay? So all of those are very high in fat. Another culprit, okay, this is the number one culprit is the fat, but the second leading culprit is going to be refined sugar, and it's everywhere. Oh, and it looks like a drug, sounds like a drug, and guess what? It is a drug. Now, here's how much sugar the average global consumer is buying, just so you know, all right? The United States, again, number one in fat, number one in sugar, okay? Yeah, 72 grams average purchase of sugar per capita per day globally in 2015. So we're averaging 95 to 127 grams of sugar per day. Oh my God, that's a lot. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. In fact, in 1700, the average person had 35 grams of sugar per week. That's one lump of sugar. Today, it's 700 grams, more than 700 grams per week. That's crazy. There are places that their business is, these are crack houses, okay? As far as I'm concerned, this is a crack house. That's all they do. They have one item that they sell, and that's all they sell is sugar. And this is a place in Canada, Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. Okay, so it's all crack. It's just crack. In fact, sugar, we've done the research. Sugar is actually more addictive. It's just as addictive as cocaine. All right, and by the way, the font here is intentional because Coca-Cola, leading contributor in the distribution of sugar worldwide. They have the largest consumption of it. And we have shown in the scans that sugar actually lights up the hippocampus of the central nervous system even more than cocaine. Now, I'm not saying that you switch over from sugar to cocaine. All right, don't do that. All right, that's not good either. All right, don't do that. All right, but sugar, cocaine, not good. Not good. Not good. Refined sugar, think of it as a drug and a time bomb. All right, it is a drug and a time bomb, and it has all kinds of problems. And the only thing our body can do with it after it's done its damage is get stored as fat. That's it. That's the only thing our body can do with it. That's all. In addition, processed foods. Oh gosh, I don't care if it says lean cuisine or healthy choice. Do not pay attention to that. That's just marketing. All right. So stay away from these boxed foods. Stay away from them. And another area that's really important, this is critically important. I've dealt with this so many times with many of my clients, and that's alcohol. All right. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, I still have to have my wine to relax. No. Okay. There is no safe level of alcohol. Okay. There's no safe level of alcohol. All right. Now, by the way, I want to answer this question right now. Fruit sugar is unrefined. If it's from whole fruit, it's unrefined versus refined sugar. What I'm talking about, I just finished talking about is refined sugar. So we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay, now alcohol, back to alcohol. There is no safe level, none whatsoever. On Facebook, this comes right off of Facebook, by the way. Okay, this is moderate alcohol benefits, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, can improve men's libido, reduces the risk of gallstones, lowers chances of diabetes, lengthens your lifespan, decreases chances of developing dementia. And let's all gallop off into the sunset with this wonderful smile on our faces. Absolute false. Not true at all. That's just marketing. They want to hoodwink you, bamboozle you, and deceive you into believing all their marketing. The truth about alcohol, it's amazing, okay? Contributes to high blood pressure, increases your risk of stroke, damages your heart muscle, leads to heart failure, causes abnormal heart rhythms, adversely interacts with medications, and the list goes on. The list goes on. All right, now we've done research. We've done lots of research. Alcohol consumption and heart disease risk. You know, it was interesting what we did. The alcohol industry did this research. They took a group of people in group A, people at elevated risk of heart disease over the age of 45 with a blood sugar already higher than 100, which is abnormal. And then what they showed is that, a moderate level of alcohol actually had a lower risk of heart disease. Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, but when you compare that with people who have a low risk of heart disease under the age of 45 and a fasting blood glucose in the normal range of less than 100, the curve goes down here. All right, so that's what we see. They skewed the research just to be able to provide marketing. That's what they do. In addition, we see all kinds of problems from alcohol. And if you have any alcohol and you're trying to lose weight, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So all kinds of heart disease issues. The American Heart Association, by the way, issued a statement just recently in August of 2020 saying that that there is no safe threshold for alcohol and cancer risk. I just want to drum that into your heads, all right? So that's right straight from the American Medical Association. So I know people love their wine and it causes problems, but I want you to think of this graphic because this is just to really set the story straight here. 1 bottle of wine per week is the equivalent of 5 cigarettes per week in men in terms of cancer risk and 10 cigarettes per week in women. It's more problematic for women, okay? Just so you know. So that's the deal. That's the story. Okay, now that I've thoroughly depressed you, okay? You're gonna say, what can I eat? What can I do? What am I gonna do now? I got good news for you, all right? So first I take you through that process. Now we're gonna talk about the good stuff. So to understand what we can do and the really good news, we need to understand how the body works at the cellular level because the basic unit of the body is the cell. So the cell is an energy system, just like a car is. So the engine of the cell is what we call the mitochondria. Remember that word, very important word, mitochondria. Really important because they're the pistons of our human engine. Now, protein is for parts. It's the infrastructure. It's for parts. It's not for fuel. It's not for energy. No, no, no. All right, protein is for parts. You don't need protein for energy at all. Please get that straight. The fuels that we do need, 2. Number 1, we need primarily glycogen. We need to formulate glycogen, which is the human gasoline. We also need a little bit of triglyceride, which is from fatty acids, and we need a little bit to be able to work the engine. We're basically, this is oil, this is gas, so we are a diesel engine. So how we function physiologically is like a diesel engine. So our gas is mixed in with a little bit of oil, and there has to be the right mixture for us. For us, and everybody's a little different. So if we look at why we eat, so we eat primarily, the number 1 reason we eat is to produce energy. So the energy molecule of the human body is this molecule right here, ATP, otherwise known as adenosine triphosphate. We produce more ATP through the mitochondria than any other way. So that's maximal optimal production of ATP. Now, we need a little bit of the oil, which comes from free fatty acids. All right, just a little bit, small amount. And the substrate, the gasoline, has to be pyruvate, which is half of a glucose molecule. Now, we can't get it from the bloodstream directly. No, it has to come from inside the cell in the form of glycogen. So we have to manufacture glycogen, which is the human complex carbohydrate. We have to manufacture this, and we can only manufacture this from 2 specific carbohydrates that we must have in the diet. There are many different kinds of carbohydrates. All right, everybody says carbs are bad. No, that's too generic of a term. There are 2 specific carbohydrates that we must have in order to generate the glycogen and create the glycogen, which then creates the energy. We must have amylose and amylopectin. Those are the two specific carbohydrates that human beings must have in order to produce adenosine triphosphate. Okay, now what about the fat? Everybody asks about the fat. Well, see, the thing is, fat is linked to the main fuel line. So we can only, in a healthy state, we can only burn excess fat in the presence of glycogen. So when you get these ideas, these crazy ideas of the paleo diets and the ketogenic diets and the Atkins diets, all those stuff, all right, they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy because they don't know the physiology. So what we need to be able to have is the right mix of glycogen and fat. It's a diesel engine. That's how we operate. So what we need to be able to do is have enough glycogen in the tank at all times. It's very important because if we run out of glycogen, we get into what I call the red zone. So the red zone is when your fuel is low. So now you have low glycogen in your cells, your central nervous system, your headmaster, I call it the headmaster. It shuts off the main fuel line and then it switches over to emergency fuel. So it's really interesting. In cars, you run out of gas, the car stops. Human beings have a backup system. So we have an emergency fuel system, sort of like my dad's 72 Chevy truck. All right, the second fuel tank. All right, so he would turn over to that. So the thing is, we switch over to emergency fuel. What we start doing is we start burning our own muscle. It's a form of self-cannibalism. Yeah, we start consuming our own body. And then we start to burn fat eventually after about 72 hours, but then we start producing what we call ketones. That's why all these crazy, insane people like Atkins and paleo and ketogenic, they are saying, oh, we want to see ketones in your urine. That means you're doing the right job of burning your fat. Yes, it means you're burning your fat, but you're also burning your muscle. They forgot that part. Yeah, so you're cannibalizing yourself. And then what happens? You start to go back to eating normal. You do the same thing as that mouse did. They eat less mouse. You gain more of anything you eat as fat. So we want to stay out of the red zone. Stay out of the red zone. So your priority, this is number one in my book, is to stay out of the red zone. You need to eat. Yes, you need to eat. I'm actually giving you permission to eat. Yes, you love to eat. Guess what? You're going to be able to eat. Isn't that wonderful? You don't have to starve yourself ever again. I love to eat. I really do. And I do eat. I eat all the time. In fact, it's great to eat frequently, about every 2.5 to 3.5 hours. That's the great time to eat. I'm eating all the time. And my boys, when they were growing up, they were eating all the time. They were nursing all the time too, all the time. All right, so it's normal for us to have food every 2.5 to 3.5 hours. It's normal. That is perfectly normal. Okay, all right, so that's what we want to be able to do. Now, back to the fuel now. The fuel, the amylose and amylopectin. So here are those two complex carbohydrates. So amylose is a complex carbohydrate, it's kind of a spiral, and amylopectin is kind of like a tree. We have this enzyme called amylase in our saliva and the whole intestinal tract, and it breaks down these complex carbohydrates so that we can start to put them into the cell and start to form the human complex carbohydrate that we store. This is our human gas station. All right, it's called glycogen. So we have to be able to formulate this inside the cells. Amylose and amylopectin are specific carbohydrates we must have, otherwise known as starch. Are you surprised? Yeah, starch. Yeah, this is the cover of the scientific journal Starch. Yes, there are scientists that actually study how to use starch for many reasons. Yes, we use starch for all kinds of things. Yeah, even Play-Doh is made out of starch. Did you know that? So the children, when they eat it, they don't die. All right, so starch, very important. But what starch really looks like for you and me, here it looks like this: legumes, beans, peas, lentils. You'll never get bored. There are over 2,000 varieties. Knock yourself out. All right, whole grains, tons of different whole grains, lots. Some have gluten, some don't. All right, so you have lots of options, plenty to choose from. All right, corn, wheat, millet, spelt, amaranth, quinoa, oats. Oh so many different kinds. Starchy vegetables, phenomenal source of amylose and amylopectin. The Incas developed over 4,000 varieties of potatoes. They were the ones who created potatoes. Amazing. All right. And you got squashes and sweet potatoes. All of it is fabulous. It's just fabulous. I just made some sweet potato fries yesterday, air fried them. Oh, they were so good. So good. All right, really, really great. And then that all plants have starch, including all vegetables. In case you forgot what they look like, I thought I'd show you a picture. This is the part of the supermarket you want to spend your time at. So go here. All right. Fresh fruit. I think I got this question before. So fresh fruit, we want fresh fruit. In fact, it's the #1 thing we need to help contribute to our longevity. And the fruit sugar is different because it's not a refined sugar. It is an unrefined sugar, and it's complex with fiber and everything else. It is fabulous. Lower glycemic index, absolutely. In fact, we have diabetics. What we did, we put diabetics on a fruit-only diet, and we knocked out their diabetes completely. Completely. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. It really is to me. So these are the kinds of foods. Now, by the way, if you have a sugar addiction, you know who you are. You love things being really sweet. To help you transition, I have a sugar alternative for you. Here it is. It's a healthy alternative to sugar, even better than maple syrup, better than molasses, better than honey, better than any of all those others, because this is a whole food. It's got one ingredient. Well, actually, this one has pomegranate juice in it as well, but this one, just date syrup. It's fantastic, absolutely fabulous. It is so delicious. I love this. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's quite delicious, and it's only got one ingredient: organic medjool dates. That's it. That's it. And it's this just absolutely delicious, fabulous syrup. You can use that instead, and it's a whole food. It's got the best glycemic index for everything, so it's wonderful. So I recommend this one. Okay, so the benefits of this dietary approach: whole food, plant-based, legumes, whole grains, vegetables, and fruit. This dietary approach, we got research on every single one of these benefits. Fabulous, fantastic, substantial benefits. I mean, I've got so many benefits. I've got research studies on every single one of these. It's incredible. There's so many benefits. No other diet even comes close. None, not even close. So consider this, my friends. Consider that the food that you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine, or it's the slowest form of poison. Now, you get to choose. You're an adult. I'm just presenting you the information. You get to choose what you put in your mouth. You get to choose that. It's all up to you. Okay? You get to choose how you live. You also get to choose, whether you realize it or not, you get to choose how you die. You get to choose that by default. So the thing is, you get to choose. It's your choice. I'm just presenting the information because just remember this: every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or you're fighting it. You get to choose. Now, my food pyramid is this. It's based on the neurology of food, all right, the central nervous system. So food that's life depleting, I've covered all of this. Now, meat, dairy, oils, processed foods, refined sugar, deep fried foods, all sodas, all of them, doesn't matter, even the hoity-toity ones, all right, legal drugs, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol are all legal drugs. They all cause a toxic reaction. Excitotoxins include aspartame and MSG and many other things. Those all stimulate the sympathetic branch of the central nervous system. Stay up here. My invitation to you is to really have life-promoting foods: starchy veggies, whole grains, legumes, greens, colorful veggies, and fruit. All right, you stay here, you're golden. If you want to lose weight, here's your ratio: about 50% energy foods and about 50% greens, colorful veggies, and fruit. 50-50 ratio will be very helpful for losing excess body fat, but you want to eat. You want to eat, all right? Now, that's really important. The research on this, by the way, we show, this just came out in 2019. in the International Journal of Disease Reversal and Prevention that plant-based diets, when compared to all the other dietary approaches, yes, they went head to head against the paleo, keto, and all those others, and they scored so that plant-based scored best in long-term, not short-term, long-term sustainable weight loss. All right. Now I'm living proof. Okay. 25 years. Long-term sustainable weight loss. I'm a living example. Another thing that can help you, for those of you who have an analytical mind, all right, so if you're an accountant, if you're an engineer, if you're a scientist, okay, you've been very analytical and you need some measures, all right? So one of the tools, I love this one from Chef AJ, it's a really good tool. And this is to be able to look at your calorie density. So the foods that have the least caloric density are going to be in the green. So non-starchy vegetables, fruit, unrefined complex carbohydrates, including potatoes, whole grains, and legumes. Very simple. Stay to the left of the red line. Stay over here. That's the lowest amount of calories per pound of food. Just stay there. Okay, avoid everything on the right side. Just avoid that. All right, stay on the left. You're golden. You'll be great. You'll be in great shape. Okay, so let's see here. A couple of resources for you and a couple of books that I recommend. Number one is a 21-day weight loss kickstart by Dr. Neil Barnard. Fantastic, really good. And then this just came out. The second book is Dr. Michael Greger, one of my colleagues in the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. How Not to Diet. Tons of research. So if you got an analytical mind, you need all the data, go to this book. All right, so there's lots of information there. Okay, that's the first prong. Second prong is exercise. Exercise is critically important in my four-prong approach. Critically important. All of them are important. So this is me on the left saying to my client, what fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 1 hour a day or being dead for 24 hours a day? What's it going to be, boo-boo? All right. So exercise. You must move. You're designed to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. Why? And it's not to burn calories. All right. A lot of people mistakenly believe that exercise is about burning calories. No, 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 no. The true purpose is to build the mighty mitochondria inside the cells. You need to build more of them. And the beauty, this is so exciting to me. I mean, I get totally led up because here's the thing. With exercise, when it's done properly, you can actually change your physiology. You can do that. It's like taking a 4-cylinder Honda down to your mechanic and saying, I just need a tune-up. And then the mechanic says, pick it up on Friday. I'll have it ready for you. And then you come back on Friday and the mechanic says, here's your car. And you go, that's not my 4-cylinder Honda. That's a 12-cylinder Lamborghini. How many of you like to pick up a Lamborghini instead of your 4-cylinder Honda? I know I would. So the thing is, you can change your physiology. It's so exciting to me. It's so exciting. It's so amazing. So you got to be able to do this. And when you do this, you require more fuel all day, all night long. How many of you like to burn fat all day, all night, even while you sleep? How many of you like to do that? Okay, so that's the whole thing that we want to do is have more pistons so that you're burning more fuel even while you idle. All right, that's what we want to do. So we know, we see this, it's incredible. You can actually Google and search out mitochondrial proliferation. All right, if you're really an egghead like me. All right, so the thing is, when we're sedentary and we're aging, we have very small and few mitochondria, but with aerobic exercise, we can gain more mitochondria and bigger mitochondria, produce more ATP, more energy. We're producing more ATP. Guess what? We need more fuel. That means we burn more fuel. We have a higher resting RPM, higher idle, and we're doing more. So I teach exercise physiology. I teach more about this in my programs, but I'm going to only mention aerobic exercise today. I can't cover everything today. And I've studied exercise physiology for decades. So I'm just going to basically skim the surface to get you started today. All right. So here's what we want to be able to do. We want to have mastery of this level first before you try to move on to anything else. So you want to be able to have aerobic exercise, which means the presence of oxygen. You want to be able to have that. Now, your goal is to work towards being able to have aerobic exercise 5 to 6 days a week. 5 to 6 days a week in order to change your physiology. 5 to 6 days a week. Everybody with me? Okay. 5 to 6 days a week to change your physiology. 3 to 4 days a week is only going to be enough to maintain where you are now. Some of you are behind, you know who you are. All right. So your goal is to work gradually up to 5 to 6 days a week. There's no problem doing 7. Okay. It's fine. It's fine to do that. So you want to be able to get you got to get your consistency in. Now, the intensity that you're going to work your way towards, all right, start where you are, but you want to work up to an intensity that's vigorous. You're able to breathe comfortably, barely. Okay, you can breathe comfortably. You can talk, but quite frankly, would rather not. All right, it becomes a little choppy. You want to work up to that. Work up to that. Okay, now the intensity is your most important indicator. It is. So your primary intensity is going to be, your primary measurement is going to be your, is going to be your exertion. The American College of Sports Medicine, we talk about your perceived level of exertion. So you should be like this couple up here at the top. All right, they're able to walk, they're smiling, they're happy. All right, they can have a little bit of a conversation, but they're having a good time. All right, so that's good. All right, if you get short of breath, like this gal down here, all right, that means you're working too hard. So you don't want to do that. So pay attention to your perceived level of exertion. The heart rate on the heart rate formula charts may not be accurate for you. That's based on the standard deviation of the mean and the bell-shaped curve. So it's not always accurate. So I've seen that many times. So the duration of the exercise, the great news, to change your physiology, the consistency is the most important factor. 5 to 6 days a week. It's how many days a week are you doing it? You want to work your way up to that 6 days a week. All right. The duration doesn't have to be that long. All right. Here's what we show in the research, that you only need 20 minutes of exercise at this level, not counting your warm up and cool down, but 20 minutes at this level to stimulate the physiological changes in the enzymes. That's incredible. That's incredible. Just 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes. You can do 20 minutes. I know you can. Give me 20. Now, you can do a lot of different things. Anything works as long as it's going to use as many muscles as possible. All right, walking, jogging, running, swim. Now, if you swim, I got news for you. Being a swim coach for over 40 years, you have to know how to swim, okay? All right. So if you don't know how to swim, learn first, okay? But you can do all kinds of things, There's machines today that we have so many different devices available. It's incredible. So many opportunities. So you can do things. So that is the second prong, is exercise. Really, really important. Get going, create a plan, create a structure. All right, you got to schedule this. It's the only way. I have a plan. All right, I have a plan. That's how it works for me. I have a schedule. This is how it works. I have everything scheduled for my exercise as well. The next thing, the third prong, is increasing strength. Now, strength is so important because when you challenge your muscles, you start to stimulate the growth of mitochondria inside the muscles for the demand for fuel. So we need to challenge our body. There's a rule of the planet. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you've got to work your muscles. It's really important. So I do my strength work. I did it this morning. Okay, I do it all the time. So many benefits, so many benefits. Everybody can do it. And it doesn't matter what age, really, it doesn't matter. In fact, we even have people in nursing homes and convalescent homes, and most of them were non-ambulatory, and we started doing strength training while they were in bed. And then in a month, half of them were now ambulatory. They're able to get out of bed. So it doesn't matter what age. You can do this. You can do these every day. You don't do it like a bodybuilder. You just do a little bit, and you do enough to fatigue. That's it. And if you get a little sore the first few days, that's fine. You'll get over that. Keep drinking your water, but a healthy plant-based diet will work. Now, I'm going to send you information. One of my favorite tools for being able to do strength work is to be able to use stretch bands. I think this is a safe way to exercise for a lot of people. You can learn how to do these safely. I'm going to send you a video on how to do these exercises. I'm going to send you a link to actually purchase your own set of stretch bands as well. So set yourself up so you can do it really well. I used to be a trainer. I used to train people to be able to do this very, very well. It takes a lot of training and experience to do it really well. And so that's a really great way to start. Another thing that's great to do, it doesn't matter what age you are, is you can do yoga. And yoga is fabulous. It's a great alternative as well. I recommend yoga to everyone. Of course, I'm biased because I taught yoga for 15 years, but I practice it myself. I still do yoga. You know, it's part of my routine. So I do yoga and I love it. It's great. In fact, we have more professional teams and sports teams engaging in practicing yoga than ever before. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Okay, so that's the third prong. Next prong, the fourth prong. The best is most important. Okay, so we're going to start with this. So the most important prong is this. And this is where I start with everybody. Number one thing to start with, but it's the fourth thing that we're talking about, and that is hydration. Most people are dehydrated. Your body is mostly water, 65, 70%. Now, you want to be drinking anywhere from about a half a gallon to a full gallon of water a day. Work your way up to it. Don't do it all at once, okay? Otherwise, you're running to the bathroom constantly, okay? So the thing is, get yourself to increase your water. You want to get up to at least a half a gallon of water a day. Now, how you know you're getting enough water? You're going to the bathroom. Okay, you should be able to go to the bathroom every hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but definitely every hour is fine. Really, it's fine. If you're going every 30 minutes, you probably can back off, okay? Just a little bit. All right, so you want to be able to drink enough water. It's really important. Frequency of urination, really important. You need to be able to do that. Now, it's interesting because we have research on this, and we showed this in a randomized 12-week clinical study. We showed that 2 cups of water, 2 8-ounce cups of water, 16 ounces of water before meals led to a 44% greater rate of weight loss. Holy moly. Holy moly. Like, Jenny Craig can't do this. Nutrisystem can't do this. Weight Watchers can't do this. MetaFast can't do this. 2 8-ounce glasses of water before your meals led to a 44% greater rate of weight loss. I'd like to put all those people out of business as far as I'm concerned. Here's the news. Just drink your water. Every day, drink your water. In fact, here's what I suggest. Here's my tips to get started. Drink 2 8-ounce glasses of water first thing in the morning. I do this every day. I still do. Your brain, by the way, does not need the caffeine. It needs the water. It really does. It's 80% water. We need to rehydrate the brain. All right. Now, drink two glasses of water before each meal, and then maybe another one afterwards. And then drink a glass of water before you work out and 2 glasses of water after you work out. Yes, drink lots of water. Drink your water. It will make a profound difference. Now, how you know you're drinking enough, another check for you to know that you're drinking enough is not only the frequency of your urination, but also the color of your urine. So check your urine. I can talk about pee all the time. So the thing is, you want to check it. Make sure that it's pale yellow to clear. That's a good indication. If it's bright yellow to amber, you're dehydrated. So you want to get more water. So make sure you drink plenty of water. We also have this exciting research from the Adventist Health Study with over 20,000 participants, and we showed that 5 glasses of water, not only is it good for you to lose weight, but 5 glasses of water, just 5 glasses of water, reduce the risk of stroke and heart attack by 50%. This should be on CNN every night. I mean, it's crazy that we don't know about this. So this is profound. So water is exceptional. We need to drink our water, plenty of it. Now, those are the 4 prongs. To pull it all together, here's another resource. If you really want to work on being able to get fit and lean and healthy, there's a great book, a step-by-step guide to burning fat and building muscle on a whole food, plant-based diet, written by my friend, Robert Cheek. Now, he was a distance runner or marathoner, and he became a bodybuilder. And so he's been learning how to really incorporate the principles of bodybuilding, just to be leaner and more fit. That's all. That's all he's doing. So let me talk about how fat loss is effectively done. When you do it the right way, following this approach, this 4-prong approach, there's 4 major phases that we tend to go through, and it could be different for each person because everybody is different. However, it requires consistency, number 1, and lots of patience, number 2. Okay, because the problem that we have in this society is that everybody gets on the darn scale every single day and they want immediate results. And that's not how it's going to go. All right, so you have to get that one out of your head. Let go of that one. Okay, so it's really important. Now, I used to measure the body composition for my swimmers when they come and swim with me because I wanted to help them to lose excess body fat, increase muscle. So I wanted to be able to do that. So I had a young lady, she was about 15 years old, came to swim with me, about 5'8" and 5'9", about 5'9", and 145 pounds when she came to swim with me. Now, this is the profile of what happened for her. Now, she was out of shape. She put on a little bit of fat and she wanted to get trim and lean. So, of course, all my swimmers get educated by me as far as the process and how to do this. So she started doing everything that I've shared with you already so far. So in the first month, I measured her, and so she 145 pounds, 105 pounds lean muscle, 40 pounds of fat. Now, in the first month, what happens? Drinking water, eating healthy food, exercising, doing strength work. So the thing is, when we lose muscle and we start doing the right things, we gain muscle pretty quickly. If you've ever had a broken arm or a broken leg, you know about this because you start gaining muscle pretty quickly. So in the first month, she gained 2 pounds of muscle. Good thing or a bad thing? Very good. It's a wonderful thing. She gained 2 pounds of muscle. That's great. Awesome. But the machinery to burn the fat hadn't really kicked in enough yet. So the fat stayed the same. So what's the net change on the scale? It increased by 2 pounds. Now, here's what a lot of people do. They look at the scale after a month and they say, I went up 2 pounds. Oh my God, Coach Ruben doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. I've been working really hard on this system. Yeah, I went up in weight. This sucks. I quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. You're doing the right things. You don't know the body composition. The scale only tells you a raw number. It doesn't tell you body composition. So the next month, here's what happens. She gains another 2 pounds of fat, of muscle, 2 pounds of muscle. Good thing or bad thing? Great. That's awesome. She's getting stronger. And she burned 2 pounds of fat. Oh, so we had this crossing effect. Okay. So the net change on the scale, 0. 0. So she gets on the scale at the end of 2 months and she looks at the scale. I mean, she's feeling better. She's feeling stronger. But, you know, there's been no change on the scale. I'm still 2 pounds heavier than when I started. Oh my God, Coach Ruben sucks. I hate this. This is miserable. I quit. No, don't quit. Don't quit. Next month, she gains another pound of muscle. Good thing or bad thing? A very good thing. She's stronger now. This is awesome. She's swimming faster. It's really going great. Okay. And she burns another 2 pounds of fat. So the net change on the scale is a measly 1 pound. Oh my God. All this work, 3 months, and I'm still 1 pound heavier than when I started. Oh, I hate this. Coach Ruben sucks. I quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. So the next month, she levels off at 110 pounds because you only gain muscle for a certain amount. That's it. But then she loses 3 pounds of fat the next month. Oh, so the net change is 3 pounds less. And the next month after that, she loses another 3 pounds of fat. So now what happens, if we look at the new equilibrium for my athlete, what we see is that she lost a total of 10 pounds of fat. All right. If I had I don't have the model here with me. I got to buy a new model. So 5 pounds fills up about this much. Okay. So a 6-quart Instant Pot would fill up about 5 pounds of fat. Okay. So she lost 2 of those. Okay. and she gained 5 pounds of muscle. Good stuff. Stronger, more fit, more capable. Net change in weight, 5 pounds, but I don't look at that. I look at body composition change. So the net body composition change, 5 pounds for muscle and 10 pounds for fat. That's a 15-pound net body composition change. Do you think that was dramatic? You better believe it. It was amazing. She loved her new body. It was amazing. It was amazing. All right. So we have to be able to measure progress. And so we have to look at different things. We have to look at total weight. We have to look at percentage body fat. We have to look at fat mass. We look at lean mass. I'm going to actually recommend that you get this particular device. This is the device that I have. This is an Omron body composition measurement scale. So we could use the dunk tank, but that's too hard for a lot of people. Skin calipers, not very accurate because that's only subcutaneous fat, doesn't really check your visceral fat. So bioelectric impedance in this device is a medical grade model. It will measure seven things: your weight, your BMI, your body mass index, your percentage body fat, your percent muscle, your visceral fat, your resting metabolism, how many calories you need doing nothing all day. And it will calculate, based on all this information, your approximate physical age, your physical age. All right. So when I did this, I just want to let you know. So in the spirit of complete transparency, all right, this is me at 62 years young, plant-based since 1995, 6'2", 194 pounds, 19.7% body fat, 36.4 muscle, visceral fat of 6, which is in the normal range, physical age 30. And I feel like I'm 30. I do. Okay. All right. So if you look, by the way, for my age, for men, all right, so that puts me right here in the healthy range. So I'm very healthy, but my goal is to get into the athletic range. That's my goal. So I'm working on that. Okay. So now the right percentage body fat for you, who knows? All right. I say it's the mirror. These are people who all follow the same 4-prong approach. All right. They all did this and they're all changed their body completely. You can change it, and whatever works for you, it's what you feel happy with. That's what's most important. So this is my 4-prong approach. I'm sticking to it. It works to get you started. There's much more, of course, but hydration, number 1, keep your urine pale, yellow to clear. Nutrition, eat to the left of the red line, follow a whole food, plant-based, oil-free diet. Cardio, focus on building your mitochondria. Build it. That's what I say to myself while I'm exercising. I'm building mitochondria. All right. And then strength, build the demand for energy and be stronger and more fit. So this is what works. It's a 4-prong approach to get started. There's much more. There's much more, because whatever puts you in the sympathetic state puts you in the state of storing more body fat. So there's a lot more. So now the final question that I have for you, set of questions, is around you being successful in being able to create a lifestyle change so that the rest of your life can be the best of your life. So my question is this: would you like to make the rest of your life the best of your life? And I hope the answer to your question is a resounding yes. So if that's the case, can you just take a moment to imagine what that would be like for you? What would that look like? Would it be amazing? Would it be amazing? Would you be able to be fit and healthy and vibrant? Would you have the capacity to be like these senior athletes doing incredible things with their bodies? Would you want to finish your days being able to dance on the beaches of some of the most beautiful beaches on the face of the planet, filled with health and energy and vitality and fun? Yeah. So the question is this: where are you now? Are you there yet? Chances are you're not. So if you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be and where you imagine it's possible for you to be, you need a plan, don't you? Yeah, you need a plan. But how will you get there from where you are now? So you need a plan, but do you have a plan that's actually proven to work? Chances are you don't. I do. And I'm living proof, because I use my 4-point approach, my 4-prong approach, and I use my 4-point plan to actually change my lifestyle. And I'm living proof of it. I am. So this is my 4-point plan for being able to change my lifestyle. Number 1, it starts from inside. All right. We have to begin from within. We have to change our mindset, our thinking, our attitude, our consciousness and awareness. So we've got to do that. In 2 weeks, I'm doing my Eliminating Self-Sabotage seminar. Do not miss it. You don't want to miss it. It will change your life, I promise you. Secondly, we need a proven strategy, preferably evidence-based, because doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Let's not go there. Third, we need to be intelligent. Nobody is successful by themselves. Nobody. We need to set ourselves up with support and accountability so that we can actually be successful. So we need to surround ourselves with the right community of people who love us and support us and encourage us and uplift us. It's no mystery. And then fourth, we've got to create a track record of consistency, because consistency leads to the development of the habits, and habits produce results. That's the formula. It's not a mystery. It's not rocket science, but it takes a lot of work. I'm not going to kid you. Okay. It takes consistency. It takes patience to be able to do this. So some of the things that I offer, just to let you know, I do one-on-one, I do consultations with people. I do a lifestyle medicine consultation. And what I do is I empower you to get started with a plan, to look at areas of your life that need to be focused on. So I do this. This is my friend, John. John is an extraordinary human being. In this picture, he is 75 pounds lighter and completely free of all the risk factors for heart disease. He was on death's doornail. He really was. He was right there. So he is a happy, happy man today. Here's another example of somebody. This is back in 2010, Reverend Charles Cooper. And he, in this picture, he stood at 5'7" at 330 pounds. 5'7", 330 pounds. Shortly after this picture was taken, his mother passed away, and he realized he was on the same path. And he came to me in April and he said, I'm ready to get started. So we started the work, and we did a lot of in-depth work. I did one-on-one coaching with him, the whole bit. And then 2.5 years later, so this is the picture before, this is him after. I just want to take a good look. Okay, this is him. Half of his body is gone. 150 pounds lighter. He did it the right way. Did it the right way. And then he continued and did a photo shoot, you know, looking pretty good there. All right. And then he became a personal trainer. All right. And he had the audacity to put his picture on their t-shirts. I never did that. All right. So the thing is, it's possible to have a complete transformation. I also do a group coaching program. It is a transformational, it is the only transformational lifestyle medicine immersion program on the face of the planet. It is extensive, it is powerful, it is amazing. It really is. And so this is the last time we had, this is before COVID. So we had a big group, and it was awesome. And so the next program is going to be virtual. We're going to do a February program virtually and June program virtually. And it's going to be awesome. I split it up. You get 16 hours of training ahead of time, plus 12 hours of follow-up, 12 weeks of follow-up after that. You build community, you build support. I coach you. It's amazing. It's an extraordinary program. Everybody wins. It is awesome. It's a great program. So the first weekend we cover the inner game. I set you up to win, no kidding, because I want you to all win. The second weekend, we go to the science of all the areas that are important to get started: nutrition, hydration, cardiovascular exercise, strength, and sleep. And then I set you up because I want to set you up with a path. This is not an informational program. This is a transformational program. You're going to set a goal. You're going to create a map. You're going to have a setup. You're going to have a group. You're going to have group coaching. You're going to have support. You're going to have accountability. It's amazing. No other programs like this. No other program can do this. And it's awesome. People produce miraculous changes. It's extraordinary. Here's one of my graduates. This is Donna. Donna over here is a retired nurse. In April 2018, she said, Ruben, I've been plant-based for 8 years already, and I'm still struggling with this weight and this blood pressure, and I'm still having challenges. And so being in the program, Donna, what we were able to do is fine-tune her program So one of the things that she realized that I helped her to realize was that she wasn't counting her grams of fat. So she started counting to make sure that it was less than 20. She did other things too. There's much more to this picture, but that's just one aspect, one element. So today, I mean, I just looked, I mean, she walked like, I think 7.8 miles today, this morning. It was amazing. I mean, she's incredible. She's walked already, I think she started back at the beginning of December. She's already walked 250 miles. All right, so it's extraordinary what she's able to do. She will tell you she is living her best life right now. She will tell you at 68, she is living her best life right now, and it's extraordinary. In addition, I also do programs in the workplace. I'm a former hospital administrator and healthcare executive, and so I do programs for lifestyle medicine in the workplace. I'm actually on the committee for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine for lifestyle medicine in the workplace. And I love being able to do this. This is when I put my shirt and tie on. And so I love being able to do this. This is an extraordinary 6-month program, transforming lives, transforming the workplaces. And it's an incredible program. So if you're an employer or an executive and you want to be able to do this, just let me know. And then, so this is my contact information. I go to my website. I have my video channel. You just click on videos that take you right to my YouTube channel. So I do many things. And I will now answer all your questions. So let me go to the chat window and start answering questions. Okay, let me go back to the beginning. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Lake County.
Oh, could you go back to your phone number?
My phone number, 916-484-7415. That is my office line. My cell phone is 916-821-8953.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let me go to some of the questions to see. The name of the organization that wants to know if you lost 50 pounds, the National Weight Loss Registry. National Weight Loss Registry. Let's see. How does this relate to chronic pain? Oh, well, because here's the thing, because the visceral fat is very much related to inflammatory cytokines, which are very much involved in chronic pain, very much. Yeah, so that's very much the case. Won't touch Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, awesome, good. Thoughts of unrefined coconut sugar, monk fruit sugar, agave, stevia, and honey. All right, my recommendation, they may be a little bit better, but they're not the best. So I made my recommendation as far as the best sugar, just go with the just date syrup. I would go with that, or date sugar. All right, and I already talked about sugar from fruit. Let's see. Rice okay for diabetics? Absolutely. Make sure you check out my webinar on freedom from diabetes. So make sure you check that out. And I've already recorded that one. So check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. Yeah, many are allergic to gluten, grains, can only be due limited legumes. Yeah, and due to blood type. No, it's not due to the blood type. It's due to other things too. So it's not, the blood type has nothing to do with your food complexities. It has to do with a lot of other things, including the glyphosate in the food. A lot of people have been poisoned by the glyphosate, which is the Roundup that's used in a lot of these foods commercially as far as the harvesting. So that's why I recommend organic foods. It'll make a big difference. Let's see. Next question. What about 20 minutes on my rebounder? Rebounders are great. I love it. I have a Bellicon myself. I love the rebounder. It's really great. Jump away. It's fantastic. Let's see. My wife told me when she drinks a lot of water, she retains it. That's a myth. It's not true. If she's got a lot of salt in the diet, she would retain it. So we need to make sure there's a lot of factors. Have her do a consultation with me. We'll get to the bottom of that. Let's see. Brown rice is better than white rice. Yes, absolutely, because it's got all the fiber and you want all that fiber, so it's better. It's interesting, in China, many years ago, it was about 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, in China, what happened was that they discovered that the wealthy were showing diseases of malnutrition. And so they sent some scientists from the United States to go over and examine what was going on. And they discovered that the wealthy were eating the white polished rice because that was more, it was more aristocracy, okay? It was much more refined, all right? And the poor people were eating all the brown rice. The poor people had no nutritional deficiencies. All the wealthy people who had just the white rice had all the nutritional deficiencies. So that it was very interesting. So that led to a lot more research in nutrition. Yes, I agree. Lundgren Farms is absolutely the best California organic rice. I love that. It's fabulous. I love that too. My transformational program, it'll be in the email. Check on it, on the information. It's fantastic. I do basically 4 hours on Saturday from 10 to 3 with a lunch break between 12 and 1. And we do the same schedule on Saturday and Sunday, and then the next weekend, the same schedule. So that's what we do. Let's see. Don't disappear, okay, Tina, if you lose weight. Yes, I am going to send you the recording. Brown or quinoa, okay. Yeah, quinoa is great. I love quinoa. I'm making all my stews. All right, any other questions from anybody? Anything at all? You have to unmute yourself if you want any other questions. I think I went through everything in the chat window.
I just did a recommendation.
Okay, what's that?
Noble Vegetarian in Sacramento. It's all vegan and it's really good. And it's reasonable.
Yeah, it's very reasonable. Watch the oil though. Make sure that you specify no oil because a lot of places are not onto that just yet. So you need to make sure that you specify that. Some of the dishes have oil, so you need to be very clear. The restaurants that have oil-free menus, just to give you a short list, Faux Fresh in Rancho Cordova has a vegan oil-free menu. It's fantastic. Ask for it. The food on the menu is fantastic, absolutely fabulous.
What's the name? Could you write it
down?
Faux,
P-H-O.
P-H-O.
Fresh. Okay, that's in Rancho Cordova. They have a vegan oil-free menu. Ask for that. They will do it oil-free. It's Vietnamese food. Fantastic. Then there is Faux Vegan, P-H-O, vegan, 2 words. You have one in Rockland and another one just opened up in Folsom on East Bidwell next to the DMV. And it's all vegan and they have an oil-free menu. Yes, at my request. I've been making changes in the community. All right, I've been insisting on oil-free. All right, another is Zest Kitchen up in Rockland.
I heard of them.
Okay, and they have oil-free menu as well. Okay, and let's see, and Mexican food at El Papagayo.
Oh, I know that. That's near me.
Okay, that's in Carmichael on Marconi and Fair Oaks Boulevard.
Yeah.
And she will do, you just have to ask her. She has a vegan menu and you can ask for oil-free. She'll make sure that it's done oil-free for you. Rosa is fabulous. And then another place is Queen Sheba, the Ethiopian food.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, down on Broadway and 17th. And Zion is the owner. I've known her for like over 20 years. And if you ask her, she will do the food oil-free for you. She has a vegan selection and you can do it oil-free. And when I speak at these places, they do oil-free for me and everybody that comes to watch me and comes to my seminars. So other questions?
I have 2 questions.
Oh, there's Anita Faye. Oh God, there's Anita Faye. Thank you, Anita Faye. Anita Faye is a graduate of my program. She's amazing. She's a certified chef. And she will cook oil-free for you, and her food is amazing. Okay, so if you need a chef and you want to hire a chef to actually cook for you here in the Sacramento region, hire Anita Faye. She is fabulous. Anita Fabulous Faye. Okay. Oh, I'm going to coin that. That was good. All right, good. Other questions? Other questions?
Hi, Reverend. Hi. This is Justine. Thank you so much. The information has been great. I appreciate that information with regard to the sugar and the just date.
Yeah.
I only eat organic. I follow a lot of I've had a lot of testing with regard to allergies and allergens. And unfortunately, though, I do have somewhat of a restricted diet because of those things. Do you work with folks in group or one-on-one around? Okay.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
both. But a lot of times it's best on those situations to work one-on-one because I can get really detailed with you and figure out
Right.
what's going on.
And thirdly, and I know this is maybe a complicated question, with folks that are nearing menopause, you probably see some differing changes. Do you specialize and tailor your plans, exercise, diet to fit folks who are perfectly thin, perfectly great, and all of a sudden found themselves in a whole different world?
Yeah, it's really great that you say that. Yeah, I've been dealing with that for many, many, many years. Of course, I've never gone through menopause, but some people will say that I have, but it's okay. But the thing about it is that there's a lot of complications in terms of hormones, and this is why, I definitely work with people to help them to regulate their hormones with a plant-based diet and many other things too, because there's a lot of different factors. Stress is a factor, sleep is a factor, diet is a factor, hydration is a factor. There's a lot of factors that are involved in terms of being able to balance out the hormones. My good friend, Dr. Neil Barnard, just wrote a book called Your Body in Balance. It's fabulous. And he had a presentation on this not too long ago. It's just really good. He's got a great book on this. And he talks about being able to balance your bodies and understanding the importance of a plant-based diet to help with that. But I also talk about a lot more because our bodies are complicated and we're not just the food that we eat. Yes, you are what you eat, but you're a lot more. So there's the emotions that we have and the environment that we live in and everything else. So there's a lot of factors involved when it comes to being able to balance out the hormones, and especially
I love it. You're preaching to the choir, already on that journey with you, and look forward to learning more and contacting you. Would you put your phone number once again and the book that you just mentioned in the chat at the end? That would be enormously helpful.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, actually, I'll send it in the email
to
everybody. And so I'm making notes here. And then don't worry, you'll get all my contact information. You're going to get all that. So
awesome. Thanks.
You're going to get the recording. You're going to get the recording for this webinar. You're going to get all the slides, including my contact slide at the end. You're going to get all kinds of resource information. I got lots of links, videos, articles, all kinds of things. You get all the information about all my services, everything you want. And so it's all there.
Coach Ruben, I had a couple of questions, if I might.
Sure.
And they're completely unrelated, but does insurance, particularly like HMOs like Sutter, ever cover the cost of your program? Is that something you've seen done before? And if I go in a Mexican restaurant or in a restaurant and they offer a McDougall menu, can I assume that McDougall approved foods are fairly okay?
Okay, really great. So 2 questions. The first question, in terms of insurance, right now, insurance does not cover lifestyle medicine professionals. It will, doctors who are right now they're board certified in lifestyle medicine. If they're practicing lifestyle medicine, they can bill under certain codes for Medicare. They can for some things, but not everything. All right. Now we're working on it. We will come to the day where we'll get lifestyle medicine covered by insurance carriers. Just to let you know, Blue Shield right now has a lifestyle medicine department, but they haven't really scaled that all out yet. So it's coming. It's not here yet. It will come. I'm looking forward to that day. Let me tell you, okay, because then my programs will be covered by insurance. In fact, I'm submitting this week to a coordinator at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine the information about my lifestyle medicine in the workplace program so that my workplace program can be covered by Blue Shield. So we're working on that. So it's coming, but we're still ramping up a lot of things right now. And then in terms of the McDougall plan, so if it's a McDougall approved diet menu, that means it's plant-based, no oil. Okay, so that's good. It's good. I know John personally, so it's good stuff. So if it's McDougall approved, you're good. You're fine.
Coach Ruben,
Yes, Linda.
this is Rebecca.
Oh, Rebecca. Rebecca. Okay, sorry, I didn't see you lit up there.
Oh yeah.
There you are.
Question.
Yes.
Have you ever worked with chronic pain people who've had their pain reduced after being on your program?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've worked with people who have fibromyalgia, pain from multiple sclerosis, all kinds of other things, rheumatoid arthritis, many times, actually. So lots of pain. Yeah, it's really quite extraordinary because what lifestyle medicine is all about is, remember we talked about this, is shifting the central nervous system state from being predominantly sympathetic to being predominantly parasympathetic. And it's pretty amazing what happens with these chronic conditions, especially the chronic pain, is there's this process in which the scale gets tipped. And it's pretty amazing because once we're able to tip the scale, it's extraordinary. Like people start to, they literally wake up and it's like the pain's almost completely gone. It's just as incredible, but you have to be patient, you have to be consistent. And this is where we have to look at all the spokes in the wheel. This is where I look at everything. And I work with people and develop plans for them. And then, really work with all the spokes, every aspect of their lifestyle. And it's extraordinary and it's wonderful and it's a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. I mean, when people have their bodies back, and there's stories on the Forks Over Knives website that actually will share that with you as well. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tina?
Linda first. She raised her hand.
Linda, then Tina. Okay, we'll go.
Okay, just real quick, would you, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Oh, I'm with Blue Cross and I was wondering, are you going to try to do something with Blue Cross?
Well, we're working on the whole thing. I don't have control over that just yet. Okay, so yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Eventually, we'll get there. Blue Cross, Blue Shield are very close together. Okay, Tina, your question.
So my question is,
Roxanne.
while I used to exercise regularly, through dance, but
Yeah.
now everything is via Zoom, so I don't have the motivation as much. But what is the difference between, why is it so important to have some type of aerobic exercise aside from just, let's say if you were doing squats and weights and toning, back exercises, planks, all that stuff compared to a daily, let's say, aerobic exercise? Is there a huge difference between the two, or is it best to combine, or is it best to just stick to aerobic, and also what time of day does it make a difference to do it first thing in the morning or late at night or during, midday or whatever?
Okay, so you got two questions there. So
Yeah.
the first is aerobic exercise versus strength exercises.
Right.
So one does not replace the other. So aerobic exercise is important because what it does is that consistent exercise over the 20 minutes changes the physiology and increases your mitochondria. Whereas the strength work only is going to address the muscles that you are attacking, all right? So it's small scale. Whereas the cardiovascular exercise is working the entire body. So there's a difference in the physiology. So you need to do both. This is why I always tell people, do both. Do both, not one or the other. No, some people make that mistake. It's a mistake to do one or the other, or think that one replaces the other. No, you need to do both. So it's very important. I have a plan for being able to do aerobic exercise through the week and a plan for doing strength work during the week. All right, so that's what I do. Now, in terms of the time of the day, here's what the research shows. The most important thing is the time that you do consistently. Whatever works consistently is the most important thing. Now, if you're a morning person and you get up in the morning, you feel good in the morning and you can do your exercise in the morning before you start the rest of your day, great, awesome, it works really well. If you're not a morning person, you know who you are. Okay? Waking up in the morning and doing exercise is the last thing on your radar. It's the furthest thing from you thinking of doing, like, oh no, that's like, oh my, this is painful. No, No, in fact, the most popular time to exercise in the gym is actually after work. Did you know that? So more people actually exercise in the gym after work. They do that and it works really well and it's fine. The key is consistency. That's the key. So you got to make it work and you got to make it work for you. So
another question. And you mentioned Anita Faye.
No, I've
sorry.
got 20 other people will come back to you.
Okay.
Wait your turn. Okay. All right, let's see. Who else? There was somebody else that had a hand. I think it was Rebecca.
No, me, Roxanne.
Oh, Roxanne, that's what it is.
Hi.
Yes, hi. So Roxanne,
I came in late and Tina invited me. So
great. Awesome.
Thank you, Tina. She is a busybody and keeps my sister next door neighbors nice and healthy. So
Great.
She is one of my best friends.
Awesome.
I just wanted to say that I learned that I had ataxia a year and a half ago, mildly, and I've been working out ever since I was little, and I just kind of gained the weight over life and the pregnancy and just kept it on. But I swim. I'm just not consistent. So I have a lot of supports. I'm a teacher and we do the Leadership in Me by Stephen Covey, and there's lots of things to enable me to help me to progress, but I'm very not consistent. And I noticed that in your program, you have only like 1 or 2 weeks of, you know, the I don't know, I guess cognitive behavioral therapy. Is it going to continue for the whole 12 weeks? Because I do Pilates 3 to 4 days a week, which helps with the balance issues. And I found that when I do more, I don't trip or fall, and I'm very consistent on writing the intensity and the intervals between my slips and trips and falls and how I feel that day. And then I do interval training, not HIIT training. So it's 45 minutes of 2-minute training. So, but I don't stay consistent depending on the way that I feel.
Got it.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, couple of things. So consistency is really important. So creating a structure for yourself will really make a difference. Yes, my 12-week program is fabulous because we do the first 2 weekends is the instructional part, but then we have 12 weeks of support and accountability. Okay, 12 weeks, we have a weekly conference call. It's fabulous. People have so amazing results because of that. And we create community as a process of doing that. And it's a structured process, not airy-fairy. I mean, I have a lineup of questions I'm going to ask you every single week. You'll know every single week, you know, what is your 12-week goal? Why is that important to you? What is your attitude statement? Are you saying that 30 times a day? What was your progress last week? Okay, how would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? What other support do you see yourself needing, that what can help you and empower you, and how can we support you? So it's every week I ask those questions, every week, and everybody's on the call together, and it's amazing. People are so beautiful in this because you come to know each other and you come to support each other in the most amazing ways. Because I mean, people are helping them out. I had this just last week. One of the participants, he said, you know, you need help in getting to drinking your water. Here's something that I've been using. It's this measured water bottle. It's a water bottle. It's kind of clear, but it's got the measurements on it, and it has the time on it too, so that it can help you. He gifted this water bottle to the other participant to help him with his water drinking. And he was and the participant that received it was so grateful. That's the kind of stuff that happens. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. So that's what we do. Now, consistency happens when you've got a team of people around you that support you in creating that consistency. It really does. When you got a team, you're part of the team. Yeah, it really does happen. So it's a beautiful thing. I have a special place in my heart for teachers, just so you know. Okay. So I have a special place in my heart. So I just want you to know that. So you have a special scholarship to be able to participate in the program as a teacher. Okay,
Oh,
so
thank
you
you.
just send me an email. All right, and I'll let you know what that is. It's a special opportunity because I have a special place for veterans, for active military, firefighters, law enforcement, teachers, full-time students. Okay, all of those have given so much. And so I want to give to them. This is my way of giving to them. So this is my way of giving to you as a teacher because I know how hard you work. Okay,
Thanks.
because I've been a teacher and I know I'm still a teacher, really. Okay, so I mean, I've taught at the university level, at the high school level, and even junior high. Yes, I had junior high students. That's real teaching. So, anyway, all right, great. Let's see. Other questions that I missed? Let's see.
Yeah, I have two more.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. Well, my wife wanted to know about what supplements you recommend for vegans on this diet. Oh, and especially she wants you to address calcium. And then my other question, I just want to clarify, you have a discount for veterans?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I believe in honoring our veterans. Absolutely. So just let me know if you're a teacher, if you're a veteran, you're
Even
military.
if they were like a veteran decades ago?
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I had an 84-year-old veteran participate in my program. He got this special scholarship for that. Absolutely, absolutely. So supplements. So what we say in lifestyle medicine, the only supplement you really need to have is vitamin B12. All right, so that's the supplement you need to have. Vitamin B12, I don't have it here with me, but you want vitamin B12. You can, your body stores it, your liver stores it for a long period of time, so you don't need much. And very little that we need. We need like 3 micrograms a day. It's not much. All right, so you take some of these pills. I take a chewable. It's about 1,500 milligrams. I take one a week. It's more than enough. All right, so that's all you need. You don't need any other supplements. We really prefer to not encourage other supplements, especially the minerals. So the minerals are the problems, are the problem supplements, the mineral supplements, because we get into trouble with that, especially things like calcium. All right, so the best calcium that you ever need, and you don't need it for your bones for osteoporosis. That's not what you need. A lot of people think they need the milk for the calcium. That was marketing. All right, it's completely a bunch of hooey. All right, so the thing about it, you need the calcium that comes from the plants. And if you're getting your spinach and your beans and your all your other, in fact, you get plenty of calcium in oranges. I mean, there's so much calcium in the food. And so that's where you want your calcium from. And plus there's different forms of calcium, because you buy a supplement, it's calcium carbonate, which happens to be chalk. They sell chalk as a supplement. They do. I mean, they do. You got to know your chemistry. And people say, oh, this got all this calcium in it. It's really great. This many milligrams of calcium. But you don't know. It's chalk. So the thing about it, you need biologically available calcium. Well, the best place is going to be from plants. Absolutely. Where do you think the cows get their calcium? Where do you think the elephants get their calcium? Where do you think the giraffes get their calcium? Well, they get it from plants. All right, so the rhinoceroses get it from the plants. All right, so that's where you get your calcium. So that's what I recommend as far as your supplements. Okay, other questions? Hope that was good. That was a good one. I like that question.
Oh, what does he?
Any other question? Anything else? Anything else? All right. Okay, Tina, you got another question. All right, good.
You mentioned Anita Faye. Does she work for a restaurant, or is she like a chef that you hire, or can you order takeout? Or how does that work?
Anita Faye is a fabulous, wonderful individual person. She is an individual chef and cook, and she's on here, Anita Faye LeClerc. I will send her information to everybody on the email. Okay, so if you're interested, you can call her up. She is amazing. She is, I forget how old she is. She's just really incredible. It's Anita Faye, you can type that in. So she actually is a personal chef. Okay, so she is a personal chef, and she will do that for you. She will cook for you, and her food is fantastic. Okay, it's really fantastic. and she makes all kinds of wonderful things. All of it plant-based, oil-free, all of it. And she can do all the specialty stuff too, the gluten-free and all that stuff. She can do all that. So it's really great. Okay, so you guys have kept me here for an extra half hour.
Did I say one quick
more
one?
Last question. Okay, last
Very quick.
Okay.
I was wondering about Enzel bread because
Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread.
Ezekiel. How do you say it? Ezekiel.
Ezekiel bread. Yes, it's
Ezekiel.
named after the book of Ezekiel.
Because it doesn't use flour and it just grains.
They have a non-flour bread. Okay, so they have a non.
All their breads were.
No. You can find they have a bread that has no flour. It's actually just whole sprouted grains. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's good.
It has
grain.
What?
It said sprouted grain, cinnamon raisin.
That's a cinnamon raisin, yeah. But that one I believe has no flour.
Yeah, it says flourless on it.
It's flourless. Yes, that's right. There's no flour.
That's why I thought it was good. So.
Yeah, it's fine. So you can have that one.
Great.
Yeah, there you go. That one's good. That one's flourless. Yeah, the other one is flourless as well. Okay, I've got to sign off. Thank you for being here. My request is one thing. Please, 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 please share this information. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it all to yourself. You know people. Okay, you all know people, so share this. All right, I'm out to change the world. I need your help. I can't do it all by myself. So please share this widely. Share this with your friends, your family members, everybody you know. Share this, get people. My goal is to see 1,000 people on these webinars. All right, I do these almost every Sunday except when I'm doing my immersion program. So I'm going to send you information. Check it out. Check your emails. Look for it. I'm going to send that all to you very soon, probably by tonight. Thank you so much.
Could I say one quick thing? Could you send it in a way that we could send it to Facebook and Twitter?
You're going to get it all. Okay. So you're going to be able to do it all. It's going to be in an email. I'm going to send you an email. And then if you want to send that off to anybody else, I will send out a newsletter, and you can send the newsletter out by Facebook. Okay, so you can do that, and it'll have all the links and everything. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.